Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's chapter of Toriko, chapter 346. We have that awesome cover page, that basically details the various battles that are going on at this current moment in present time, but currently we are in in a flashback. So, word is already we see how everything, word's already getting around. The air is was cooked instantly by Komatsu, and that the 10 shell 5 are tasting this air that Komatsu cooked, and they're like, wow, this is amazing. So good on Komatsu. We also find out what the match score for the games were for the competition, and that Yuta won. Wabbits, the oil guy, and the guy with the freaking cyborg eye lost, and Komatsu's girl won, and of course they never finished the match. Asaruti and Chiru's match. Now that but they assumed that they had similar levels of ability. Gigi's basically saying, okay, well, who should we bring? And they're like, well, so they said, they had an advantage because they could use Warp Kitchen and because that they listened to the advice from the food spirits, so that that in terms of actual cooking skill, that the chefs from the human world are actually better than them. And that, they were so busy with ingredients that were delicious to begin with, and that having infinite amount of time, they forgot about the appreciation of the food. And they even the one chick points out that the people they were up against weren't even their best members. You have Chio was, who showed up later, was clearly cut above the rest. Komatsu, who they were all like expecting the whole time, wasn't there. So he said, man, let's take them all. But Gigi points out, well, there's a problem. We don't have enough golden cookware. And this, Komatsu meets up with the rest of the group. And then, after the Komatsu interacts with the 10 shell 5, and like, oh, I want their autograph, they talk about the recipe, because Match asked the obvious question: is it true that to cook the full course you have to sacrifice the lives of the inhabitants of the slum? And then we find out that this is to resurrect God, that in order to cook God you need human life. And we finally get the truth about this, them cooking the full course in this country. And he says, no, it's not the original. They're, we've over many years, long years, Don Slime was able to gather seeds and fragments of the full course little by little, and that working together with King Enma, they were able to successfully reproduce the ingredients in Area 6. So, and that the recipe, and then we also, Komatsu's like, oh yeah, by the way, that notebook I found long ago at the gourmet period, yeah, there was a recipe in there about uses humans for fertilizer. It's just, and that Gigi basically talks about, to cook God, a very large amount of energy is required. God itself is a powerful ingredient that can even absorb a chef's life. Originally, we used the lives of various different creatures as fertilizer, but they were insufficient. Humans, apparently, were better. And that apparently it was the 4 beasts, referencing the 4 beasts, the 4 beasts was created to capture humans, to help capture a large amount of humans for this ingredient, to cook this. And that we find out that the original reason for them trying to cook the full course in Area 6 was to revive Don Slime. And that Komatsu asks the other obvious question: why is there a way to cook God without sacrificing lives of living creatures. And as we all predicted, they're like, well, there was one person who was able to do it, Froze. So it is possible to sacrifice it. Yes, and he's like, that's true, it's possible, but that use techniques that we taste hermits and even the Blue Knights don't even know. It also requires a considerable stone. If someone tries to cook it on their own, their life would suddenly be sucked out and they would die. And then Chin Chin's like, well, can you use food immersion? If there's plenty of food to replenish my energy, I can take the place of fertilizer for several hundred people. And that basically everyone's like, all right, we're gonna help. And it says, well, we still don't have the, I'm not. And then Match is like, well, I'm not really interested in Absalom, but cooking the full course was the reason we came to the gourmet world. But still, we don't have the techniques to cook, and we don't have the strength to oppose the 8 kings. But they're like, well, we'll give our lives too. And they're like, oh, well, that's all quite true, but fortunately, here we're just cooking a fragment of God. We're able to get through with just a few people doing food immersion. But we have to cook the entire full course. The truth is, the truly dangerous thing is not God, and that is where there's something we must do in a hurry. It takes time to cook the full course. And the one that takes the most time is none other than the one that dwells here in Area 6. It takes approximately 600,000 years to cook it. But they can cook it in the soul world, where time progression is nearly 0, which to drastically reduce the cooking time. The problem is they need the tools, the golden cooking ware, which because any other cooking ware would wear, rust, and deform from continuously being used for tens of thousands of years. And how will they be able to get these said tools? And that is, they don't have enough, so they have to make more. How are they going to get these materials? Where do they get these materials from? The 7 beasts of Area 6, each one producing something, part of their body is used as can be turned into a cooking vessel. Or should I say, we have the kitchen knife. You must use the teeth of the Shark King Rhizome. If for your pot, you have to use a rock from the Turtle King Pandora. Your cutting board must be made from the body of Coral King Corlogium. The frying pan must be made from the scales of the Scale King Atlantis. The ladle is from the leg of the Octopus King Yamamatako Orochi. And the apron must be made from the skin of the Sea King Ocean. And the final item, the spatula, must be made the minerals come from the Clam King giant shell, the giant shell they're already in. And we learn the truth behind why these ingredients can do that. We find out that at some point in each of these creatures, hid inside them as a way of protecting itself from Whale King Moon. But when it had to run from him, and went faster than the speed of light, it created an entrance to the spirit world, the soul world, in the form of that creature. And so that creature's body became infused with this energy. So that's why if you make these things from the body of these 7 beasts, they can be used in the soul world because they are infused with soul world energy, I guess you could say. So, and yes, by the way, the savoriness, and that that this giant shell they're in is a kind of like a back channel in itself, and is equipped with the ultimate safe phone that not even the Whale King Moon can swallow. So And so they're like, okay, now it's not going to be, obviously not going to be easy to get these, pieces off these materials from these seven beasts. And the gourmet knights are going to go after him, the seven beasts. I mean, I know they're, capable fighters, but I don't think they can take on the friggin' giant ass beasts, seven beasts of Area 6 who boast capture level in the what, 3,000-4,000s, something like that. So, and then everyone else is talking about how they're gonna help, like, the Karibo is gonna make the ultimate pot with the materials, and Melk's like, oh, I'll sharpen the knife, and Gunther's like, oh, of course, I'll handle the cooking, and we'll use those tools to cook another and the rest of the full course. And then the chapter ends off with a meeting between King and Enma and Don Slime, where Enma's just like, yeah, it seems that Neo could revive at any time, so better hurry. And the send-off little thing at the end of the chapter is, the goal is slowly becoming clear. Next issue, cooking in the back channel. So it looks like next chapter we're going to actually see the actual cooking. So this chapter provides a lot of information, and it is very good information. We learn so much about the how to cook another, about the truth, about the more so information about how they were able to produce the full course ingredients in Area 6, and how just if you are near another when it goes faster than the speed of light and goes into Soul World, your body will pretty much become infused with this Soul World. Well, they don't directly say it, but basically your body will then produce similar waves, I guess, to the Soul World. So parts of your body can be used to make cooking vessels to use in Soul World. Now, I don't know how that would work if it was a human, but these beasts are just, they can do it. So, next chapter, we're going to get some cooking in the back channel. But then again, we also have to see the making of the golden cookware and the fight against the seven beasts in order to capture those the materials. Now, they don't necessarily have to beat them, but they still have to fight them to get the ingredients, or not the ingredients, the materials. So this was a very good chapter, great, and so I hope you all enjoyed this review, and hope to see you all next week.